Hey guys, so today we're going to continue with Everlasting Summer. This will be part 3. I hope everyone has enjoyed this so far. It's a little bit different than everything else because it's more reading than it is like decision making so far. So we'll see how it goes um, in that respect. So we're going to continue on. So this is part 3. I woke up. Bright sunlight struck my eyes. It was almost noon. After stretching lazily on the bed and yawning, I recalled the previous day. In a few seconds, all of its events passed before my eyes. The bus, the camp, and the local inhabitants. No, that's just wrong. Not this whole situation, not me being here. It was wrong by default. My attitude towards what was happening was wrong. Because yesterday I fell asleep here just like that, and before that I chatted nicely with the local pioneers and even managed to crack a few jokes. But how could I act like that in such a situation? I should be frightened, startled by every rustling. I should avoid contact with all the potentially hostile creatures. The last day's events were getting hazy, like I had a hangover. This really feels like the morning after a heavy drinking party. Yesterday's natural, flawless, absolutely normal conduct becomes a nightmare in the morning, a grotesque illustration from the Divine Comedy. Yes, it's just like that, and I can't change the past now. Then again, I had probably assessed the situation and acted accordingly. I glanced around, trying to figure out whether I had been thrown somewhere else, but Ula's cabin looked the same as yesterday. Everything seemed to be in its place except for a pioneer uniform which was hanging from the bedhead. I fumbled with it in distrust and tried it on. At least this is better than walking around in winter clothes. I wish I could see myself. I bet I look like a clown. And for that, I needed a mirror. At least a tiny one. I finally found one on the wardrobe door. Holy! I looked at the newfound pioneer and jumped away in surprise. There was some teenager on the other side of the mirror. He resembled me, but he wasn't me. Where did the weak stubble go? Where were the bags under my eyes, the slouch, and the deadly fatigue on my face? It seemed that I had not been thrown back in time or into a parallel reality, but instead simply changed bodies with someone else. Right, it's that simple. Such things happen every day. I looked closer at the stranger and then I only realized that it's actually me. It just wasn't today's me. Maybe one from between my school and university years. At least that's something. There you go, in person in extreme situation, and did fail to notice the elephant in the room after all. But the camp leader noticed it, and last night she told me off for addressing her without proper respect. Ah, screw that. I doubt my appearance affects anything else. If the clock was not lying, breakfast is long over. Oh well, I'll try and find something in the canteen. It worked out well yesterday with Slava, didn't it? Those memories make me smile involuntarily. The sun was shining brightly outside, a light breeze was blowing. A beautiful summer day. I had not felt so good in the morning for several years. All the problems were gone, vanished into clouds that were white as snow. Ugla came out of nowhere. Good morning, Simeon. Good morning. I smiled, doing my best to show that, no matter what, my morning was indeed good. You only arrived yesterday, so I decided not to wake you up, but breakfast... Never mind, here, take this. She handed me something wrapped in paper. Judging by the oily stains, there had to be sandwiches inside. Oh, thank you. Now go wash yourself. I was about to leave. Oh, wait a second. Ugla quickly ran into the house and came out to shove a small bag into my hands. Inside I found toothbrush, soap, a small towel, and something else. I did not look too closely. A pioneer should always be clean and tidy. Let me do your handkerchief, your Yeah, your neckerchief properly this first time. Yours is askew. You should do it yourself once you learn how to. Do we have to? I'm going to wash myself now. Yeah, right. It could get hooked on the tap and strangle me. Fine. Later then. And don't forget about the lineup. Pencils, paper, drawing lines. You shouldn't forget such things. What lineup? What do you mean, what lineup? She frowned. It's Monday today. Weird. By approximation, it should have been Sunday. Then again, a shift in the day of the week is hardly the worst thing. We usually have lineups early in the morning before breakfast, but it's Monday today, so we're having it at 12 o'clock. Don't be late. Alright, but where? At the square. Where else? There was no reason to argue. I headed to the bathing place. I knew I could forget about separate showers and toilet, but the sight of this malfunctioning symptom of decaying socialism, a funny turtle with a tin shell, paw taps, and a ceramic belly, I felt sick. I was not a squeamish person, but nevertheless, standing there, I realized that there was some minimal flaw of habitual comfort which I found it troublesome to do without. It's often like that. When you lose things that you thought were ordinary and common, you suddenly understand how essential they were. Ah, screw this, as if I had choice. The water was ice cold. While washing my hands was not an issue, washing my face and mouth became a big problem. There was no toothpaste in which Ugla gave me. I could brush my teeth without it, but there is a small round box wrapped in a towel. Tooth powder. Cute! 1 point for me for being somewhere in the past. I washed myself quickly, also due to the ice-cold water. Someone was coming quickly, or mother-like running towards me. I turned around. It was Slava, dressed in a tracksuit. The girl would probably look good in anything. Pioneer uniform, bikini, probably even a spacesuit. Hey there! Well, hey-oh! Wasu, good morning, yeah. Oh yeah, real smooth. Why didn't you come for breakfast? I overslept. I said it as if it was something to be proud of, but Ugla gave me some sandwiches. Oh, great then. Don't forget about the lineup. Yeah, sure. As if I could forget. Right, gotta run. Enjoy yourself. She waved goodbye to me and disappeared around the path bend. It looks like a couple minutes until the lineup. I should quickly pass by my home to drop off my washing bag and eat the sandwiches, and then head to the square. I swung open the door of the camp leader's cabin and rushed inside, as if jumping into the last car of a departing train. It didn't turn out to be exactly the best idea, because inside I found Ugla, who was changing. I froze on the spot, trying not to breathe. Finally, the camp leader noticed me. Simyan! I looked away immediately. Haven't you heard of knocking? Get out, now! Yeah, that was real clumsy. Though, I did enjoy the sight. Ugla followed me out in a minute. Here, take this. Now it's your home, too. She handed me the key, and I put it in my pocket. Home. Of course, if you disregard how fantastical the current events are, this camp was far from being the worst place on earth. But to call it home? Just after 1 day spent here. I doubt I'll ever be able to do so. Alright, let's go. We're late. But what about the sandwiches? Just eat them on the way. We were passing along the lines of the pioneers' cabins while I was tucking into the ham sandwiches, and Ugla kept talking and talking. She was buzzing like a game of operations with Parkinson's. But I cared nothing about the food. Understood? Huh? You weren't listening! Sorry. Today's the first day of your new life as a pioneer. You should do your best so that it becomes a happy life. Yeah, definitely. I'm serious. A pioneer has many duties. Great responsibility is conferred upon him. To participate in social work, to help his juniors, to study and to study and study again. We are all like one big family, and you will become a part of it. Yeah, a part. I'd even sign a party membership card if it could save me from listening to this nonsense. I hope that after your term here is over, you'll keep the most pleasant memories about our camp. Memories that will last your whole life. And when will this term end? Why do you keep asking such silly things? It seems I won't get any information from her. A shame, really. This world appears to be so friendly, but it never bothered to introduce itself to me. Perhaps now I can take things somewhat easier than yesterday? It seems like I have some unspoken ceasefire with it. It isn't trying to hurt me, but I'm forbidden from asking questions. Of course, the situation isn't a pleasant one, but what can I do about it? A bad peace is better than a good dispute. The most important thing for you to do now is to make best of the time you will spend here. I'll do my best. Honestly, I was very tired of this conversation. It would be good to know where that here is, but we came to the square. The pioneers were already lined up. What? Is someone not here yet? Nope, all here. She looked around at her brave pioneer troops. Alright, go stand somewhere. Weird. Why did she tell me that there are no more sleeping places? While the chief was running her mouth about the plans for the week, I stared at the people. A few heads stood out for me. Electronic, a little further, Lana, Slava, and at the end of the line, Ilana and Alisa. Everyone I had met was here. Ugla spoke about some competitions, and I turned my attention to the monument, Jenda. I could not remember any revolutionary with a similar name. He had a weird posture too, as if he was looking around with distrust, or maybe contempt, or even disdain. Probably some local leader. Daydreaming again? Slava brought me back to reality. Ugla stood nearby. Still remember the plan for the week? The plan? I will never forget the plan. Perfect. She looked at Slava. Did you bring it? Yes. Slava handed me a piece of paper. It's a checklist. There are 4 tasks to check off. Do it all today. Before you start, sign up for a club. There are some clubs in the clubhouse, a musical club in a separate building. Then visit the infirmary, and finally visit the library. Got it? Yes. The checklist seemed like a good chance to find out something, since I had to go to the places I hadn't been before. But come on, start right now. What about lunch? Don't worry, I'll bring you some more sandwiches. The checklist is more important. Good luck. They departed too fast for me to ask anything else. Missed breakfast, and I will miss lunch too. This ain't good. Maybe I'll manage in time somehow. Lunch starts at 1 p.m. Then again, if I go there, I might miss a place from the checklist. Okay, it's too early to go to the canteen anyway. Oh. Well, that's fun. So now we have a map. So these are the places that we can go. Clubhouse, the music club, kitchen, dining hall, the infirmary. Wow, that took me a minute. And the library. And it looks like these are all the people that we can kind of talk to, I guess. So we'll start here. The music club, a small one-level building, was located some distance from the other camp buildings. I opened the door and entered without hesitation. There was enough instruments for a whole orchestra here. Drums, guitar, even a piano. I spent some time looking closely at every instrument, wanting to guess the time period that they were from, but suddenly I heard a crawling sound coming from underneath the piano. A girl seemed like she was looking for something. She was standing on all fours with a suggestive pose that I hesitated to speak first. Excuse me. Ah, who's there? She tried to stand up, but the bottom of the piano prevented her from doing so. Ouch! She struggled out. Sorry, I scared you. It's nothing. Oh, you got a checklist. You must be new here. Yes. My name is Miku. No, really, I'm serious. No one believes me, but that's my real name. My mother is Japanese. My dad met her while he was building. Well, it wasn't him who was building, he was an engineer. He was working on a nuclear power plant there, or dam, or bridge, whatever. She was talking so fast she swallowed half the words she tried to pronounce. I'm Simeon. Great, you want to be in our club? It's only me here now, but it will be two of us then. Do you play anything? When I became antisocial, I bought a guitar and learned a few chords, but then I forgot about it, since I quit nearly everything that required a couple hours to learn. You know, I wasn't planning on doing anything like that, really. Oh, it's okay, I'll teach you. Maybe a trumpet, for example? How about a violin? I know it all, honestly. There was no point in arguing with the orchestra girl, since there was another cascade of words waiting to blast at me. Hey, I'll think about it. Can you just sign it for now? Yes, sure. Give it to me. Be sure to come around. I'll sing too. I'll sing you some Japanese folk songs, or maybe you're not into that. Maybe something more contemporary? Sure. Thanks. Gotta go now. Of course, come anytime. The end of her sentence stayed inside. It might have been nice to hang around with a guitar in the evening, but in such company. I turned to leave and came face to face with Alisa. She eyed me suspiciously. Why did you come? The checklist. Got it signed? Yes. Then move it! Alisa went inside and I hurried to leave the place. We'll go here. I went into the clubhouse. To tell the truth, I never really liked extracurricular activities. At school, I used to find any excuse to skip extra classes. At the university, I had no interest in participating in student council. I wasn't interested in boxing, aero modeling, or sewing, so I came here just to check off the box. Nobody was there. I found myself in something of a hut of a junior robot enthusiast. There were wires and simple printed circuits scattered everywhere. Chips, and on the table proudly stood an oscillograph. I heard voices from another room, and then two pioneers appeared. One was electronic, and the other I didn't know. Hey, Simeon, we've been expecting you. It seems he knows everything about everyone. Why were you expecting me? Well, of course, you came to sign up to our cybernetics club, didn't you? He didn't let me answer. And this is Shurik? He's in charge here. I assume there are only two of you in the club? Well, you can say that there's three now. Shurik came up behind me and assertively offered his hand. His face was somewhat familiar. Welcome to the club. Yep. Now I'll show you around. Make yourself at home. Guys, I just wanted to... We're always welcoming new members. He said it in such a way that the anthem of the Soviet Union started playing in my head. It's amazing. I even remember the words. The first grade I had a textbook with the lyrics in the back. No, I just wanted to sign my checklist. Yeah, you sign up to the club, we'll sign your checklist. He grinned. I was getting ready for a long, boring argument, but then I heard someone enter. I looked back and saw Slavia. Ah, Simeon, I hope they aren't giving you any trouble. She narrowed her eyes, looking at the future of the motherland's robotics industry. I know these two, they can. Well, you know, I actually just needed to get my checklist signed. I decided to take advantage of the situation. No problem, give it to me. Slavia took the paper and marched up to Shurik. Sign it. Hold on, we're not done yet. You're done. Sign it now. She gave Shurik such a threatening look that it made him lose every possible objection. He wrote some squiggles on the checklist. I thanked Slavia and moved on in the mellow mood. So, let's see. We'll go to the library, I think. Actually, I love reading, but spending my days in a library under the current circumstances was well beyond my scope. I'd better hurry up with this checkpoint. I stepped inside, and a memory of my childhood emerged in my head. It was very vivid. I'm 7 or 8 years old, and at the library with my mother. She's looking through the books I might need for my studies. I'm sitting in a corner looking through their collection of comic books. Back then I didn't know why they had so many, or why I couldn't take some with me. The notion of collective property was something my mind hadn't grasped yet at that age. However, back when the whole concept of property was pretty hazy to me, this memory seems stranger now, while I was standing in this particular camp where they might have managed to build communism in 3 years. The Soviet symbol was all over the place, and the shelves were full of related literature. Of course, I wasn't planning on reading any of these. Getting acquainted with a full collection of books by Marx was the last thing on earth that I could think of. Where's the librarian? I didn't spend much time looking for her. I looked closely. Short hair, thick glasses, a rather cute face. She was snoring so peacefully I couldn't wake her up. I can wait, but if she doesn't wake up in a half an hour, maybe then... I couldn't just sit there, so I took a random book off the nearest shelf. Arthur Schopenhauer, The World as Will and Representation. I opened it thoroughly in the middle and started reading. The life of a man, with its endless upkeep, wants, and suffering, is to be regarded as the explanation and paraphrase of the precreative act, i.e. the absolute claim of the will to live, and furthermore, it seems it is also the reason a man owes nature his death, and thinks with anxiety of this debt. It is not the evidence that our existence involves guilt. At any rate, we always exist from time to time, playing death from our birth. We always exist and alternately bear the joy and sorrow of life, since neither of both can pass us without some effect. That result is our stated will to live. Thus the fear of death, which, in spite of all the miseries of life, holds us firmly to it. It's really elusive, but just as elusive as the impulse which has attracted us to it. The attraction itself may be objectively the mutual longing glances of two lovers. They are the purest expression of the will to live. It is an affirmation, how gentle and tender it is. It wants happiness, it wants quiet pleasure, and mild joys for itself, and others, for all. Someone knocked on the door. I closed the book quickly and put it back in place. What a nice habit, knocking on the door. I should pick it up. It was Lena. Oh, hi. I smiled. Hi, I wanted to return a book. She had the copy of Gone with the Wind I saw her with yesterday. Oh, Xenia is sleeping. I'll come back later. I'm awake. She turned around in surprise and looked at her. She eyed me closely from behind her table. Is that what you wanted? I needed you to check here. Give it here. She quickly signed the paper and gave it to me. She had a look on her face that made me want to keep quiet. Lena came up to her and returned the book. I thanked Xenia and went out. What's the point of visiting the infirmary? My health was fine. The fresh local air clearly did some good. I felt fresher than usual. But I just have to visit, I answered. A common infirmary, like my school doctor's room. A middle-aged woman sat at the table. Obviously, she was a nurse. She gazed at me intently, assessing me while continuing to write something. Well, hello, Pioneer, said the nurse without being distracted from her work. Good afternoon, ma'am. I have something. Sit down, please. I looked around the room. On the couch. I sat down. Strip, she said, all of it with an even tone. What for? To inspect, to articulate, and to check your health, you know. By the way, my name is Violetta. You may call me Viola. Viola? She turned to me. What are you waiting for? Strip. But I have no health issues. I got this. I gave her the health paper. Later. She took the stethoscope off her neck, seeming like she intended to probe me with it. But then someone knocked on the door. The nurse answered unwillingly. "Come in." The moment the door opened widely, an electronic rushed inside. "Hi, I fell during the football game. Nonsense, of course. I'm okay, but Ugla, there's a massive bruise under Electronic's eye. I doubt this could have been a football injury. Sit down, I'll have a look," she said to him. "And you, pass me your checklist." The nurse quickly signed in and continued. "If something hurts, come see me immediately, Pioneer." I decided not to answer and went out, closing the door behind me. That nurse is surely something else. Finally, I got all the signatures. Now I had to go back to Ugla and give it to her. She was sitting in front of her cabin reading a book. Doesn't look like a good role model for the perfect pioneer that she was planning to turn me into. I wonder if her responsibilities extended beyond giving fiery speeches at the lineup, scolding Uliana, and getting involved in my moral, physical, and ideological growth. Here, I offered her my checklist. She placed it in her pocket without even looking at the signatures. Great! I could have signed it myself without going anywhere. Perfect. Did you meet our nurse? Yes. For some reason, her question sent shivers down my spine. Which club have you signed up for? I didn't. I need to think first. That's a pity. It's vital for you to sign in somewhere tomorrow. Of course, sure. Right, time to go to dinner. About time. I was getting hungry. I headed to the canteen together with Ugla. I looked at the sky and noticed the sun was already setting. On the porch stood Alisa, Electronic, Uliana, and Slava. We came up and we heard what they were talking about. Never call me Devcha again, or you'll get another one. I didn't call you that. You're hearing things. He did. I heard it all. You weren't even here. I was, in the bushes. Come on, you guys, stop it. So it wasn't a football injury Electronics suffered earlier today. The nurse did a good job. I couldn't even see his black eye. Ugla came up to them and asked about the ruckus. What happened? Alisa and Cheesecough. I didn't do anything. She shrugged with antipathy and went inside. Right, dinner time. I entered last. There weren't too many free seats. There were a few free chairs near Alisa across the canteen, but I'd sooner starve for a week than risk my head near her. There's also a seat near Uliana, but I'm not into traditional Chinese whatever crawls cuisine. Finally, a free chair near Miku. It looks like I'll have to pick my poison. Do you mind if I sit here? Oh, yeah, sure. No, I don't mind. Yes, you can sit here. I sat down. Look, it's buckwheat today. Do you like buckwheat? And chicken. I don't like chicken. Well, it's not that I don't like it, but if you ask me, I would prefer to say stroganoff beef or ragu. No, maybe just hamburger or rump steak. Do you like rump steak? I'm not picky about my food. That's the simplest truth. Oh, is that so? The desserts, they aren't really good here. I like ice cream. Do you like ice cream? I love 84 kopecks and Leningrado. Oh, sorry, I keep talking to myself. Maybe you like Eskimo better? Dinner was starting to get on my nerves thanks to such company. I'm not the kind of person that can just ignore someone who's talking to them, even her. We're at the same table after all. Once I bought a waffle cone and started eating, and you know what? I found a screw in there. A real screw. Can you imagine that? Or was it a bolt? I don't really know. Screws are the ones that you tighten with screwdrivers, and bolts are the ones that you turn with a wrench, yes? As if there was a speed eating contest going on, I would probably be in the top 3 winners now. Right, I'll be going. Enjoy your meal. I got up and headed outside. Miku was saying something, but her words were drowned by the crowd of loudly dining pioneers. I went out and sat on the stairs, waiting for my dinner to settle down a bit. I sat there watched night falling. Everything was so lively here during the day, kids laughing and yelling happily, fooling and running around, consistent chatter, games going on, and swimming at the beach. But after dark, the camp changes entirely. The sounds of the day are swapped for silence, now and then only broken by crickets chirping or a night bird. The camp was going to sleep. In every shadow you could see things, maybe a ghost, or a spirit of the forest, or a wild animal, or a human being that would be the last thing to expect. This is how it looked last night, and now the locals followed their routine very strictly. In the day the camp was there, at night it belonged more to the forces of nature than to humans. Someone touched my shoulder. I looked back. It was electronic. I'm gonna go play cards. Cards? Yep, I invented a new game, a good one. Good? Like how? Well, first we have to find the cards, then I'll tell you. Then go find them, what's the problem? Only Ugla has them, and she won't give them to me. Why so? Well, the last time when Ugla and Slava came out to the porch, Semyon wanted to ask about the possibility of getting playing cards. Actually, for what purpose? Well, we invented a new game. Not we, you did. What game? I need the cards to show you. I don't like this. Well, if Semyon is with you, perhaps it's okay. To be really honest, we'll go fetch them together, Ugla. We will go get the cards with Slavia. If you don't mind, sure, let's go. We headed towards my cabin. Roughly halfway there, Slavia stopped. Hey, I just remembered, the cards are in my cabin. Good timing. And where's that? It's just down the road, let's go. We reached the cabin that in fact looked more like a trailer. Wait here a minute, I'll be back. It took her just a few seconds to come back. There. She showed me a deck of pretty worn out cards. These must be marked in and out. That's unsportsmanlike. What happened to fair play? Tell me about it. It's hard to cheat when you don't know the rules. Shall we go? Let's go. On our way back, I decided to try and find out about something. How long have you been here? In this camp? About a week. I see. And where do you come from? I'm from the north. That is the cold north. She looked at me and smiled. Looks like nobody in this camp is inclined to answer even the most innocent of questions. I tried to approach from another angle. And what do you like? What do you mean? Well, your hobbies. Oh, I like nature. Strange, she's not very talkative today for some reason. Nature? I see. Want to become a natural historian? More like a normal historian. I have always had interest in our nation's history. That would suit her well indeed. It appeared that among the locals she was the only one who had nothing to hide. What if she came here just like me and simply could not trust anyone enough to tell? I tried testing the waters. And why did you choose this camp? I didn't. My parents got a voucher for me from their work. Another failure. Well, if you could choose, it's nice here. I don't think that I would choose some other place if I could. Here it's like you're becoming another person. That wasn't how I saw it. What do you mean, another person? It's just there are so many possibilities. You learn so much, meet many new, interesting people here. She now started to sound like our chief, which raised a red flag for me. I decided to stop with the questions for now. When we came back, Ugla told Slavia, I just remembered that the cards were at your place. It's okay, we got it. Good, good. Slavia and Ugla went inside. I was going to follow, but someone grabbed my hand. Alisa. Her gaze sent a shiver down my spine. Not a nice one. You want something? I asked carefully. You're gonna play this stupid game? Yes? Is something wrong with that? Nope, nothing. She was turning to leave, but then slowly looked back and smiled. So, you play cards? A little. I couldn't figure out what she wanted. So, Durek, is that it? As if you're a poker star. Well, yes, technically. Then you don't have a chance. Why? Because. So, you know the rules? Of course. Well, then you'll have the upper hand. I couldn't see why we would go on talking and motion towards the door. Why do you keep trying to leave? Is there anything else you want to talk about? Let's make a bet. What do you mean? You're such a slowpoke. The cards. What else? What do you want to bet on? That I'll win. That's quite a possible outcome, I agreed calmly. So, you're afraid? No, I'm not. I'm not big on bets. I don't like my chances. You're not big on taking risks, too. Such an astute observation. I'm impressed. Right, then I... No, you're not. Now what? I sighed in exhaustion. She was starting to annoy me with her rubbish talk about pointless bets. If you won't bet with me, I'll tell everyone that you tried to seduce me. What? You heard me. I could imagine her doing this. Don't be stupid. Who's gonna believe you? I've been here less than 2 days. Besides, you wanna try your luck? Right. And what'll happen if I win? I won't tell anyone anything. And if I lose? Slowpoke mode again? I'll tell everyone you tried to seduce me. I told you already. So you're telling me now that I have to work to prove that I didn't do something when I didn't actually do it? If that's how you want to look at it, not a simple decision. On one hand, it was stupid to agree. I didn't know the rules, and gambling wasn't my thing. On the other hand, she could really make my life hell. Then again, can I even trust her? She can do it even if I win. So have you made a decision? I was going to answer, but suddenly Lena came around me from behind. What? Nothing. Lena hurried inside. So we can bet with her, or we cannot. I think we'll bet with her. I may regret it 100 times. Fine, I'll do it. She smiled. But if I win, yeah, all fair, no cheating. Lisa turned, went up the stairs, and inside the canteen. Why am I doing this? Because she can set me up regardless if she wants to, since she decided to anyway. I let out a heavy sigh and followed her through the door. Inside, everything was ready. A few pioneers stood here and there chatting. Tables were moved out of the way to make room for players and spectators. I looked around. Something was going on in the far corner. When I came closer, I saw a large piece of paper with a diagram drawn on it. My name was among the players. And who came up with all of this? I patted Electronic, who was standing near. Well, of course, it was your most humble servant. He bowed to me jokingly, and it made me uncomfortable to a point of squirming. And why in the world am I among the players then? I was disappointed. A few seconds ago, I thought I had a slim chance of evading this tournament, and I wouldn't have to fear Alisa's revenge for losing some bet with her. But now that hope was gone. It was pure coincidence. Yeah, right, coincidence, except that I was already acquainted with every one of the contestants. While there were a few dozen other pioneers in the room, I was seized by anxiety. It's the feeling of being watched while standing in an empty room with no windows and doors. Will there be a prize? I asked him lazily. I wanted to distract myself with pointless conversation. Electronic was about to answer when Liliana came out of nowhere and started jumping around him. Prizes! Prizes! I heard something about prizes. Do you know the main ethos of the Olympic Games? What? No. You'll understand when you grow up. She made a wry smile and jabbed Electronic in the ribs. So what about the prize? Well, I don't know. It's not up to me. He made a helpless gesture. Really, if they came up with this stupid game, they could at least give the winner a chocolate medal or something. Liliana suddenly jumped and raced off somewhere. I wish I was that optimistic. So, what about the rules? Wait a bit. Not everyone is here yet. I looked around the canteen. Alisa, Slavia, Lena, Miku, and Shirk were here. It seems everyone is here. Not everywhere. Xenia is in here. Does he feel uneasy, or is it just me? She's not here, so what? Pick someone else instead. No, I can't do that, he answered slowly. I decided to not ask exactly why he can't do this. Well, go fetch her or something. I don't know. He can't go. He's the host of the event. A camp leader appeared as if from nowhere. But Ugla, Electronic whined. Simeon can go. Right, Simeon? He looked at me and smiled. Of course. Who else? Where is she? In the library, I guess. Okay. I dragged my feet towards the door. Please hurry. What's Electronic's problem anyway? The night is coming soon. I was gonna take my time, so I slowly paced towards the library. But I found Xenia before I even expected. She was sitting on a bench in the square, staring at Jenda, who was silent as always. What are you doing here? Everyone is looking for you. Sitting here, can't you see? She frowned. Well, let's go. I don't want to. She looked away. Why not? I don't want to. I sat beside her. Listen, I don't like the idea of this contest myself, but I can't let everyone down. Surely I didn't sound like myself there. A couple days ago I wouldn't even think of saying something like that. Xenia looked at me with surprise on her face. So everyone is waiting for me? Isn't that exactly what I said? Yes. I won't go anyway. She frowned and hid her face. But why? I gestured with my arms, wondering. I don't know how to play cards. So what? Same problem here. Then how can you play? What? You can only do things that you... Can you only do things that you read about in books or something? Of course. She was surprised. And what if you end up in Antarctica and have to rely on hunting polar bears to survive? Polar bears don't live in Antarctica. Xenia smiled. Doesn't matter, it was an example. Come on, it's not like someone's life depends on the result. She took time to think. I just don't want to let anyone down. Right. I agreed sarcastically. And don't you think anything funny about that? I didn't get what she meant, but anyway, obviously everyone has their weak spots. So I think we're going to end this here. We got to make a few more decisions today and do a little more than just reading. I hope that everybody enjoyed this. If you did, you can leave a like and subscribe and comment below if you have any questions. And I hope that everybody enjoyed this and has a nice day.